Hello! I'm Thomas and today we'll be exploring amazing Canada. Get ready to immerse yourself in the natural majesty of the Canadian Rockies. Behold the celestial beauty of the northern lights in Canada's skies. Discover the vibrant urban life of Canada's largest city, Toronto. Immerse yourself in the serene coastal beauty of Prince Edward Island. Witness the fascinating wildlife of Canada, from grizzly bears to whales. Delve into the history and heritage of Canada's capital, Ottawa. Embark on thrilling outdoor adventures in Canada's national parks. Don't miss any of my explorations of amazing Canada. Subscribe and activate notifications. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Canada.
Hello everyone. I'm Andy and I'll be accompanying you on this journey to Canada. If you enjoy adventures, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Now, let's go to Canada.
Canada. Canada is located in the northern part of North America, above the United States. To the west, it borders the Pacific Ocean, and to the east, the Atlantic Ocean. The United States borders it to the south and the Arctic Ocean to the north. Canada occupies almost half of North America. Ottawa is the capital of Canada. In Canada, they speak English very similar to that of the USA, so fans of American series will be able to practice their accent. Unlike in the USA, it is more difficult to find Hispanics in restaurants, hotels, or bars in Canada, so Spanish is unlikely to be useful. In the province of Quebec, the main language is French, although most people also speak English and there are usually no communication problems. Attention! The French spoken in some areas of Quebec is very different from the French we are used to, and at first, it may seem like they are speaking in an unfamiliar language. 1 Canadian dollar equals 0.74 United States dollar. Most Canadians, 75%, identify as Christians, mainly Catholics and Protestants. Additionally, there are Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish, and Hindu minorities. The largest minority, more than 15% of the population, is those who claim no religious affiliation. Maximum temperatures range around 26 degrees Celsius in summer and 0 degrees Celsius in winter. On average, it rains 7 days a month throughout the year. Canada's climate is varied, and there can be significant differences in weather across different parts of the country on the same day.
Wow! Canada seems like an amazing place, don't you think? Now, let's move on to the current situation in Canada to keep learning. Let's go!
Current situation in Canada. Parliamentary constitutional monarchy. King Charles III is the sovereign of the country, and therefore he is the king, and the country belongs to the Commonwealth. In addition, the state structure is federal, and it should be noted that in Canada there are different linguistic communities and significant territorial tensions have existed. Canada's economy as a society is rich with a high-tech industry, and with an economy with a GDP of over $1 trillion USD. Canada resembles the market economic system of the United States and its pattern of production and construction. The service sector, on the other hand, dominates the Canadian economy as it represents 68% of GDP and employs more than 79% of the active population, according to 2020 data. The most important services are education and health, and the most dynamic ones are telecommunications, tourism, the internet, and aerospace engineering. Canadians are internationally recognized for their peaceful, cooperative, and generous temperament. Canada has a very diverse culture, and therefore Canadians are typically very open to the characteristics that make each person unique. It is a society with a culture of service and careful customer attention. What to see and do in Canada? Canada is known for its national parks, but you will also enjoy its cities. Toronto is one of our favorites and one we recommend not to miss if you are going to visit Canada. Located next to Lake Ontario, the first thing you can do is go up the CN Tower, the country's most famous tower. At 553 meters high, the 360 views it offers of Toronto are incredible. As one of the most important waterfalls on the planet, Niagara Falls doesn't need much introduction. Therefore, be sure to include it on your list of places of interest to see in Canada. Although they can be visited from both the Canadian side and the American side, almost all travelers agree that the views from Canada are much more impressive. Typical Canadian food. Poutine is a delicious dish made with French fries, cheese curds, and an exquisite meat sauce known as gravy. It is the typical dish of Quebec since it was created in this city in 1950. If you're a vegetarian, don't worry, there's a variation made with almond or carrot sauce.
Canada is a wonderful place to explore, don't you think? Now let's go a little to your curiosities. Come on!
Interesting facts about Canada. 1. Perhaps you were thinking of China or the United States, but it's actually Canada that is the second largest country in the world, surpassed only by Russia. How big are we talking? An astonishing territory of 9.98 million square kilometers that you can't afford to miss exploring. And speaking of monumental sizes, Canada boasts the world's longest coastline, stretching over 125,500 miles. Take a look at a map and you'll be amazed by its incredible coastline, full of islands and irregularities that will simply call you to adventure. 2. Let's start with a brief look at etymology. The name Canada is derived from the Indigenous word Canada, which means settlement or village in the language of the Iroquois of the St. Lawrence. Although sadly, these indigenous peoples disappeared in the 16th century, their legacy lives on in the very name of the country. 3. Although many associate the colonization of Canada with the French and British, it was the Vikings who arrived first. Specifically, Leif Erikson, grandson of a Norwegian Viking exiled to Iceland, led an expedition around the year 1000 AD. They settled in Newfoundland, or Vinland as they called it, thanks to its vines. Although their presence lasted only a few years, it left an indelible mark on the Icelandic sagas and the native Inuit population. 4. These rodents played an important role in Canadian history, from fur trappers to territorial disputes. Almost hunted to extinction, at least the beaver was recognized as Canada's national animal in 1975. They even have their place on the Canadian nickel. 5. If you think you've experienced intense cold, wait until you hear this. The record for the lowest temperature in Canada is minus 63 degrees Celsius. Yes, you read that right. This happened in Snag, Yukon. But if you think that's all, let me tell you that the average temperature throughout the year in Eureka, Nunavut, is minus 19.7 degrees Celsius. Ready for a real winter? 6. Canada has one of the highest immigration rates in the world. 7. Lacrosse is Canada's national sport, and no, it wasn't imported from Europe. It was first played by First Nations peoples in the 17th century and was officially recognized as the national sport in 1994. And for winter, the official sport is, of course, ice hockey. 8. Not many know this fact about Canada, but it became independent from the United Kingdom only in 1982. Yes, you read that right, it's not a printing error. Until 1982, Canada was legally dependent on the United Kingdom, meaning that the British Parliament could vote to amend the Canadian Constitution if it so wished.
Interesting curious facts, Thomas. Now let's go back in time and go to its history. Come on!
Canada has a rich past history to explore. Arrival of Indigenous peoples inhabited the region long before the arrival of Europeans, with diverse cultures such as the Inuit, Iroquois, and Algonquins. European exploration. Jacques Cartier explored the region in the 16th century, followed by other explorers such as Samuel de Champlain and Henry Hudson. French and British colonization. France established colonies in Canada in the 17th century, focusing on the fur trade. However, after the 7 Years' War, Great Britain acquired control of Canada. Constitutional Act of 1867, the Canadian Confederation is created, uniting several British colonies in North America into an autonomous federation within the British Empire. Westward expansion. Canada expanded its territory westward through treaties and the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. World War I. Canada played a significant role in World War I, gaining international recognition at the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Increasing autonomy. Throughout the 20th century, Canada gradually gained more autonomy from the United Kingdom, culminating in the Westminster Act of 1931. World War II and Cold War, Canada again contributed to the Allied forces during World War II and emerged as a middle power on the world stage during the Cold War. Contemporary period, Canada has been known for its multiculturalism, social welfare policies, and international peace. It has also faced challenges such as tensions between Quebec and the federal government, as well as the issue of Indigenous rights. 21st century, Canada has remained a major player in world politics, advocating for climate change, peace, and human rights. It has also experienced significant demographic and social changes, reflecting the diversity of its population.
Well, this was all about Canada. Now why don't we go to some questions for fun? Let's go! Thanks for joining us on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed the blend of history and charm. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and, of course, subscribe for more adventures. See you at the next destination. Bye for now.